Hey, praise the Lord. I thought I was going to do Miriam in the Bible. God leading me to do Abigail, King David's wife, as another woman of faith. And the reason why is because, again, um, um, she's one of the um, reason why God leading me to teach about her is because she's one of the strong women of faith that that I can personally relate to. Just like with Rahab in the Bible, you know. Yeah, I too married to a foolish husband. Ain't no other way of saying it. Got married for the wrong reasons to the wrong person. And but in my situation, I'm stuck. I'm up here waiting for for God to free me out of the marriage. And we've been married going on 19 years. Well, 19 years. Yeah, 19 years. My daughter's 19. I was pregnant with her when we went to the courthouse and got married. Yeah. Um. So yeah, we got married May the 21st. But anywho, I'll talk about Abigail, and then you'll see why God let me to talk about her. And speaking of which, I had bumped into, I would say my ex-husband. I mean, even though we ain't got a divorce, but anyway, we've been separated, you know, 19 years living in separate homes, you know. But anyway, I bumped into him yesterday, Sunday, and uh, he still, he still get under my skin. Just I let him in my house, you know, let him in my apartment, and shared some DIY laundry detergent I had with him, and all he did was ask me questions about my other children, ask me questions about, and he brought up how long you been living here. No, for daggone well. Uh, then I said, oh, but how long do you remember me being here? And he said, it gotta be over 21 years. You know, this being this stupid. This, you know, and then, you know, he always was like that. Always was like that. But he never asked about his daughter. He never asked about our daughter that we had together, knowing that she's in foster care and stuff like that. And then he said, "Oh well, he ain't want to be bothered with the government. He ain't want to be, you know, he ain't want to be bothered with uh 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 uh, contacting her the government." But anyway, just so you know, it's like mixed feelings, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna teach and preach about Abigail, and then you'll see why God led me to teach about her instead of um, Moses' sister Miriam. Okay, so we're gonna go to Christianity.com like I did with Rahab, and I'm gonna read to you excerpt article. It's from, see, it says, who was Abigail in the Bible? Abigail stands out for a number of reasons. As a woman of beauty and brains, she counsels David, prophesies his kingship, and becomes one of his wives who who is actually named. Her character shows that women of God can be humble, wise, and diplomatic. Okay. I'm reading an article. We don't hear we don't get to hear about too many female figures in the Bible, and although we may have heard the name Abigail widely used in today's vernacular, we may not know much about Abigail's story in the Bible. Abigail stands out for so many reasons. We meet her married to a rather horrible man who refuses to provide David food and shelter when David is on the run from Saul. 1 Samuel 25. Instead, Nabal, Abigail's then husband, hurls insults at David. Mm. Wow, don't that sound okay? Here, Abigail sends loads of food to David and asks him not to do anything rash in regard to Nabal. Nabal dies at the hands of the Lord a few days later, and David marries Abigail. But, uh, but wait a minute. Hadn't David already married another woman, such as Michal and and Ahinoam? I can't pronounce. Does that does this mean the Bible allows for polygamy? And what else do we know about Abigail? We'll dive into all these questions and more. Where is Abigail in the Bible? Apart from the first Samuel passage above, we don't find much about Abigail except a listing in Chronicles 3:1. In the Chronicles verse, we learn that she has a son named Daniel, not the one taken into captivity by the Babylonians. We also learn she hails from the land of Carmel, a land otherwise known as God's vineyard. This means she would have come from a decent amount of wealth. Okay. The banquet Nabal throws himself and the amount of food Abigail sends David seems to confirm this. Abigail also tells David not to slay Nabal because God would do the vengeance if only David would wait on the Lord. Wow, okay. This seems to indicate she has some prophetic giftings of some prophetic giftings of of some sort. The passage confirms this when she predicts David will be king over Israel. And this article describes her as a woman of beauty and brains. David is, of course, taken by her good looks, but she advises him not to take rash actions. Even after he vowed to kill Nabal and Nabal's family, after Nabal in, insults him. So, if Abigail abounded with wisdom and beauty, why did David marry more than one woman? Or why did God allow him to do it? Does David mark as the exception to having more than one wife, or does he encounter consequences for doing so? Does the Bible allow polygamy? We do know that David had lost his wife Michal before this to childbirth. But this doesn't mean he didn't marry other women in addition to Abigail. The passage in 1 Samuel 25 makes it clear he also married Ahinoam and married others along the way. Boy. This commentary describes this as David was carried away by the corrupt custom of those times. But does David show the exception to polygamy? After all, most in the Bible who married more than one wife have great familial troubles as a consequence of this action. Take, for instance, Jacob married two wives and all the drama that happens because of that. Patriarchs also appear to have multiple concubines in addition to their wives. So does Scripture allow polygamy? Scripture makes it clear that by the time of Malachi, God shows he desires a monogamous union. If two become one, it complicates things. Then you add additional wives. No, if two become one, it complicates things when you add additional wives and husbands to the family. We also do have to keep in mind that during the Old Testament times, women were seen more as property than humans. Well, that's how it is today too. When you think about it, cultural views, not God's, and that marriage would give them security, as we see from this article. Okay, if men were allowed to take multiple wives, okay, they would satisfy various desires without divorce. If men were intent on on objectifying and abusing women, God determined to put a few safety measures in place. Perhaps this is why Abigail raised no objections to the fact that David had 8 wives in all. Nevertheless, as stated in the Bible Study 2's article linked above, God resets the clock in the New Testament, and Jesus' teachings on marriage clearly show that God desires a marriage union between one man and one woman. Matthew 19. We can chalk up polygamy in the Bible as men engaged in a corrupt cultural practice that was essentially okay in their eyes at the time. After all, their neighbors had multiple wives. Why not them? Boy, ain't that something. We should also note that the example of families with multiple spouses always seem to have massive drama and tragedy. If we took one look at what happens to David's sons, we can get a good idea of dissolving family dynamic the Davidic dynasty had. Even Solomon, who seems to stand out from his brothers who who raped and tried to usurp David, falls into depravity and has 1,000 wives and concubines. Okay, wow. The significance of Abigail. All to say, we don't know if Abigail approved of David's taking on multiple wives. As a woman of limited options, and say, she may have gone with it or realized the cultural tax tacit ate away, and not only her marriage but her family, but their family. But her character shows us that women of God can be humble, wise, and diplomatic. Okay, this is an article from Hope Ballinger, an editor at Salem, a multi-published novelist and a graduate at Taylor University's professional writing program. Okay. Well, I'm gonna put the link to this in the description. So, okay. So you see what Abigail? Okay, mind you, in the Bible, the parents picked who the spouse was going to be. So her parents, she ain't had no choice because her parents picked Nabal for her, you know, and and then um and then what was so messed up about it? He was a foolish husband, foolish, foolish, foolish man, you know, and David wasn't no squeaky clean person either, you know. David was doing dirt, you know. David wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, and she had to think quick. She was in the middle between her, her foolish husband Nabal and David. So she had to think quick is what to do to save the so it wouldn't be no fight. no altercation, so that David wouldn't kill her husband, you know. Now in my situation, I my situation kind of go all the way back from my parents, you know. Whenever you have you have parents that in a that's in a loveless marriage, and you have parents but in the Jehovah's Witness cult religion that I was in, and there wasn't no love there. That stuff trickles down to the kid, to your to our the children. So I always felt unwanted and unloved by both parents. So fast forward, that had a lot to do with the decisions that I would make, and with my husband, my knucklehead husband, and what I went through with um I married him, you know, so our daughter wouldn't get in foster care, you know. And it happened. I met him I met Elliot at Apostolic Church, and both of us sinned and I had a miscarriage. And then I got pregnant again with our daughter, Joy, had a miscarriage by Elliot, and he walked me. He left me at the left me at the hospital, you know, and I wound up getting pregnant. Got pregnant again by the same fool, you know, and then I was fighting to get my other children out of foster care, and um, he didn't give me no ring. I had bought my own wedding ring. Stupid, 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 stupid. Bought my own ring. We went to the courthouse. We didn't have no church wedding. No, went to the courthouse. You know, my mom and my sister came to the courthouse, and my mom went and got two total strangers to witness the march. And my daughter, she was kicking in my stomach. My daughter Joy, she was kicking in my belly, warning, you know, big time warning not to marry this jackass of a husband. So we got married, went our separate ways, never consummated the marriage. Didn't have no sex or nothing. He went, he lived up the street, walking distance from my apartment, and 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 um and I went my way. It has been like that for 19 years. 19 years, So I had two kids. I had two children by two different men in the marriage, you know. And mind you, my marriage was never consummated. Well, anyway, fast forward. So our daughter Joy, wind up being put in the same. Her and my son Malachi had a child by a, a, by ex-boyfriend of mine that I had since the 90s, and and she her and her and Malachi, they were in the same foster. They were in the same home with Malachi's paternal aunt, and then right now they split. They in different homes. So he's with Charles's sister, and Joy's with another foster. She's 19 now. She's with another with foster parents. That's a married couple. So my husband comes by, he still lives in a room. I still live in the same two-bedroom apartment, which is hurtful. This it's painful even talking about it. You know, but I gotta talk about it because it's gonna bless somebody. My testimony is gonna bless you. It's gonna bless somebody, and you'll see how this ties in with Abigail. So mind you, my my daughter's father was raised. He was his mom was Jehovah Witness, but he wasn't born into he wasn't born into the he wasn't born and raised into Jehovah Witness like I was. Okay, and um his parents, I think his parents got divorced. Yeah, yeah, I think his parents got divorced. But his mom don't live far from his mom don't live far from me, and when I met him in the church, and everybody was warning me. Even the bishop said, "Well, I don't see I don't see him for you. I don't see y'all two together. Trying to warn me. People in the church was warning me not to marry him. Well, anyway, um, Sunday when he came by here, um, he brought up a whole lot of mess. Oh, how long you been living? Because I was like, okay, my landlord talking about moving me, but she ain't gonna move me till next year. And I've been in this apartment for going on like almost 30 years because my when I moved, about not this particular apartment, but I've been in this complex for 30 years. So anyway, um he was like, "How long you been, this rubbing in, how long you been living here?" And I said, without getting into it, or or getting smart, or going back with him, or fighting, or arguing with him, like what he liked to do. I said, "Well, how long have you known me? How long has it been since you met me?" He said it gotta be 21 years. All right then, you know. So, but the whole time while we was married, he never pursued. He never got on his feet. He never got a house um got a house for his for me as his wife and his daughter. You know, never got no place, never got no house or nothing like that. Never made no. He stayed working. You know, stayed working, anything like that. And anything like that. But Sunday he kept saying, "Oh, I'm working. I work this and that. I'm this and that." And I'm like, all right, fine, okay, all right, fine, like that, And anyway, um, um, but then he turned. Then he was like, "Oh, you 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 I showed him the DIY laundry detergent that I made, and I showed him the recipes on YouTube. And he kept saying over again, "Oh, you need to sell this. You need to put a patent. You need to put your name on." I said, "I can't because everybody made this recipe, you know." And then he said, "Well, how much you selling it? How much you selling it for?" And I said, "You know what? I never thought about no price or nothing like that." I showed him how much the items cost, and he said, "Well," I said, "Well, I would have to divide the how much how much each ingredient costs, and then get containers and stuff like that, and like that." And he was just, just aggravating, just aggravating me, talking about. Well, you survived. Looking at all the stacks and stacks of laundry detergent and stuff that I had, that I saved up, that I had on the floor, saved up. Oh, you surviving. Oh, you doing good. You this and you that. And I'm thinking, and then he said, oh, well, nobody come see you. How Joshua? How's 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 Malachi? You see Malachi? How old he gotta be? He gotta be 14 by now. You know, you know, he gotta be 14. Oh, and your parents ain't come see you. I say no. I said as long as I'm this fellowship, they gonna always treat me like I'm dead. And I was like, and then he was giving me the update about who in who in my in-laws that got the COVID and that died in the family and everything. And then I was like, then he said, oh, well, uh, um, uh, uh, um, you gonna have to get a bigger place, and then they'll come. Then all the kids will come see you. I'm like, what that got to do with any? What did that me having a bigger place got to do with them coming to see me? They grown now. But what it all boiled down to is him not being a man, him not him not being a responsible parent, a responsible father, him not uh, being a decent husband, the whole nine, being the whole nine yards, and it goes back to Abigail. This whole thing with Abigail and Nabal. She had she was kind of in the same situation that I'm in. When I'm up here waiting for my husband to drop dead, to actually to croak and die, so I can be free as a widow, or so that my son's father, Christian father, Henry, would stay out of my life, completely out of my life, because it's like now I haven't been with either one of them, either either one of either one of them, and they both old. Yeah, Henry, 59, and Joy's father is 61. So, and I'm 51, and I still got a lot of passion, and I'm still kind of still I'm middle aged, but I'm still kind of young. I'm middle aged, but I'm still got needs, and I'm still kind of young, but I'm still waiting on God to free me. So this go back to the Abigail and what she went through. She was between two two situations. She was between a rock and a hard place, but she had to think quick. She had to wait on God. She had to trust the Lord, and she had to wait on God to deliver her. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. You know. So I hope this bless you. I hope my testimony bless you, and I hope the story of Abigail bless you, and and it's not like what I put my. It's not like how what I said with Rahab. The spirit was moving, and that Holy Ghost was moving in that video, but it's all the same. For those how can I say it? For those that's been in a situation where they in a even this kind of like a domestic, this like a domestic, it's not a domestic violence situation, but it's more like a abusive situation where you in an emotional abusive situation, and you want to get out, and you had a history of, you fornicated, or you adultery, or you had a lot of kids out of wedlock, or you had a lot of things going on in your past, and you at a situation in your life, you had a turning point in your life, and you want to get out. And at the same time, if it wasn't for you, like like in my situation, I'm the one that was there that get the help Elliot get the job at job at food staff. I'm the one that helped Henry get the job at the temporary the jobs at food staff, and I'm still here, still in the same apartment where all this trauma, all this abuse had happened, and they just left. I had they just left. They see all the public shame, whatever, and they ain't do nothing. They ain't do nothing. So for Ellie to say, for my husband to say, "Oh, you doing good. Oh, you smiling all in my face, cracking jokes and stuff. You know, you talking about he gonna come back. He gonna come around every week to get the laundry detergent. Talking about he gonna call me, check on, see how I'm doing, tell me he love me when he leave the apartment, but don't at the after 20 after 19 years don't want to hear nothing. He don't want to see pictures of his daughters on Instagram. He don't want to bond with his daughter. He ain't want to see his daughter. He don't want to talk to Julie. He don't want to none of that. He ain't want to do that. But yet he working. But yet he's working. You know, he see me struggling, but then gonna turn around and ask me for $1. Oh, do you got $1? You know, for I don't know what he do. Probably for cigarettes, whatever. Knowing that I don't smoke, whatever. But then he was like, "Oh, my hair. My hair growing. I use soap. I cut up the soap. I take a a a a a a a a a a a a I cut up soap, and I wash my hair with the soap, and it's making my hair grow." So he seen how my hair. Look how my hair is. He seen how my hair is falling out, and then he talking about, "Oh, is your teeth falling out?" Everything. So he like crack. He making. He cracking jokes about that, making jokes about my appearance, making jokes about my hair, making cracking jokes about the situation, and ain't doing nothing. Ain't doing. And it all falls back to me kind of being like, okay, like kind of like Abraham and Sarah. You remember how the story with Sarah told Abraham to sleep with her concubine Hagar, and God told Abraham and Sarah that they was going to have a child together, but Sarah had to do things her way. So that's what I was doing. I call myself fixing things, covering the sin up and everything. And I was like, "Oh no, you ain't gonna leave me. You not gonna leave me knocked up with this. You're not gonna leave me after what you seen me go through fighting and get Joshua and India and Linda, and fighting to get my kids back. You trying fighting to get my kids back. Oh no." And you done, left me when I had the miscarriage before. Oh no, you gonna marry me, you know. So That's his way. Him not divorcing me, him not him not doing things right and not consummating the marriage for 19 years and, and him not divorcing me and letting me go and him not him just doing what he doing, rubbing stuff in. Oh, you doing this and that. That's that's like a test, a test and a trial. You know, I went through some mess. I went through abuse. I went through being raped within the marriage. I was raped. You know, I was physically abused. I had I had my kids snatched in the marriage. So I was kind of like a Hosea and Gomer kind of thing, kind of like that, you know, sort of kind of like that. But anyway, but anyway, you see when I'm coming through, I'm up here waiting on the Lord. I ain't working nowhere, secondly, but I'm doing stuff. I'm doing like entrepreneurial stuff. I'm like arts and crafts and stuff like that. I'm writing books, publishing books and stuff like that. And I'm like even with Joy and Malachi's life insurance, I'm paying out of my pocket for that. But Elliot, my husband not saying my husband not saying nothing. He ain't saying nothing about he ain't saying nothing about that. You know. So I'm I may not be working like Henry doing or like what my husband Elliot is doing, but I am working. I'm not lazy. I'm not a lazy woman. A I'm I'm not just like letting my life go by and I ain't doing nothing. So anyway, I hope this bless y'all. But anyway, I'm saying all this, share all this testimony for those that's in a situation like mine and they keep going to church, they go to church, people see them and they see them all alone, they see them isolated, they see that they ain't got no husband, they see that kids snatched from them, they see um cause my husband like, oh, just let the past go, just he said, well, I seen your YouTube video and I seen what you said about Jehovah Witness and everything like that, right? You know, but he was like, put it in the past, and I'm like, what the hell he talking about? Put it in the past, and I'm going through trauma of what I'm going through trauma now of what not only what I went through in the past, but what he did doing, you know. Trust me, if I had a car or a driver's license, or if I could like get out of this area, this apartment, or get out of this area and get a divorce and file a divorce, you get a divorce and cut cut him and Henry and cut everybody out of my life, I would have been done it. I would have been done it. You know, so for him to say something like that, they didn't do nothing but add salt to the wound. But I'm just saying all this for those that's those that's in a relationship like that, you know, you ain't even gotta be married to the person. You could be in a relationship like that that's abusive, that's emotionally abusive. That's what that's emotionally and financially abusive, and you want a way out, and you trust in God. You just wait. You ain't sleeping around. Not saying that you can't, but you choose not to. You ain't sleeping around. You ain't because you lost so much as it is. You lost so much as it is. And you waiting on God. You know, you don't know. You getting to the point where even when you go to church, you hate going to church because of the shame. But you keep pressing your way. You keep pressing your way. So sometimes it get to a point where you gotta take a break. You know, you take a break from church, so you stay home. You know, you stay home, and you know what? That's what I did. I had called myself not going to church, not going to the Baptist, not going to church yesterday. And then I bumped into my husband. I went to get me something to eat and everything. And and I bumped into him. And I said, okay, I said, oh, you want to eat your lunch in the house, and I knew that I had a whole bunch of laundry detergent, doing some laundry detergent that I had made, you know, but but that's what this video is for. This video is for people like the Abigales. They stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they want to get the hell out. They want to get out of this situation. They tired of they tired of they tired of the of they tired of the foolish husbands, or the foolish they tired of the foolish people in their lives. You know, that's who I want to talk to. That's who I'm preaching to. You know, that's who I'm talking to. You know, folk need to stop thinking that when sleeping around, or adulterating, or you fornicating, whatever, that that the person want to be in that situation, that the person is happy, or the person, you know, they intentionally sin. Sometimes sometimes your spouse can put you in. Sometimes your spouse can put you in a situation to sin, or you know what? Sometimes your it can go all the way back to a generational curse thing, to your parents or your family, or your parents. If there was your parents was in a loveless marriage, you know, like my mom, you know, I was molested in Jehovah's Witness at a young age, and now looking back, the reason why she didn't protect me or whatever, or why my parents didn't protect me, is because she wasn't getting no she wasn't getting no sex. She wasn't getting no. My father didn't consummate the. My father didn't sleep with her. But my father said that they only had sex only probably 2 times in the marriage when they had me and my sister. You know, you know, and that have a lot to do when it ain't no passion and no love and no acceptance or no nothing no I can't say but no God in the marriage. Because my parents had this religion. They just had that Joe Witness cult, you know, and everything. But that forces you, that messes up generations, that messes up the grandkids, that messes up the children, that messes up a, 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 a whole lot of things. And for my husband to be stupid, act stupid, play dumb, act like, well, you know, that that's a shame. Your parents still don't contact you. They still don't, they still this and that, you know, like he don't know. Come on, you know, come on, you know. And then with his little bit of child support that he paying, that ain't crap. He paying, money that was me, owed me for Joy since she was a baby. You know, I had to raise Joy by myself for it was 5 years straight without CPS getting involved, and my husband didn't do nothing, you know, you know, and I filed for child support, and they said that he uh, couldn't pay it because he was on SSI. So when he started working, like then when she got put in the system, that's when he started working. So he he slick. So that little bit of uh that that $58 a month, you know, I've been using that to pay her life insurance. You know, you know, to pay her life insurance, and he um he knows about that, but still don't wanna, don't wanna contact her, don't wanna call her. He like um um I don't have her latest phone number. You know. Then when I try to show him Joy's Instagram video, where he said, I don't fool with Instagram. I don't know how to use it. I don't know. And then I was like, wait a minute, didn't I send you the Instagram video, Joy's graduation? Then I send you the YouTube video. He said, yeah, I got it. So he lying, you know, lying. But anyway, same spirit, it's the same demon, same spirit, like with my father, you know. My father abandoned. My father wasn't no real, no good father to me and my sister. He's more so there for my sister than me. But as far as calling me, see how I'm doing, whatever, and my father elder, but no, you know. So that same spirit of abandonment and not having a father, not having a headship or leadership, or having a decent fam, not having family, you know, the, not having family is kind of like what Abigail went through. You know, she pushed into the situation by her family to marry Nabal, and it She had to think quick. You know, she had to suffer. She, she was suffering. She had to suffer. You know, I'm trying to look up. Uh, I'm, I'm, I'm gonna do a second part to Abigail testimony. If the Lord lead me to do it, if not, I'm not. You know, you know. But anyway, this video is almost an hour long. I'm gonna get off of here, and I hope this bless y'all, and I hope this helps somebody. I really do. I hope my testimony helps somebody. You know, it's hard. I'm going through with the COVID. With the pandemic and nothing. He come here, must have come here, didn't wear no daggone mask. He gonna tell me that my mother-in-law had COVID. You know, and and that my mother-in-law dropped him off. You know, and and I'm like, dang, he coming, he could give me COVID. I asked him, did he get the vaccine? And he said no, but I already got the vaccine. But I've been here, I still been having side effects from it. Which I told him that I've been having side effects from the vaccine. And this total disregard. You know, you know, he coming here without no, no, he don't want to put no mask on. Don't want to put the mask on don't want to put the mask on. You know, don't want to say, Crystal, do you need anything? Do you need groceries? He know I live in a food desert, which is obvious. He saying I went to the Chinese store to get some food. Which it ain't no supermarket around here, so I've been going to the carryouts to get food. I've been surviving off of that. Surviving off of uh, 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 carryouts around here. Thank God for that. That I've been, that I can budget enough. I can budget my money enough to do that. But what he's seeing, he talking about, he's seeing, what he seeing the soap powder and the stuff that I had in the house. He talking about, oh, you doing good. That's for me. That's for me stocking up and saving up. Sales that I see on Amazon, and I'm stocking up. Not saying that Amazon don't always have it available, but he if he can see how I'm living. I don't have no couch. I don't have no couch. I don't have no bed. No bed. I'm sleeping on a mattress. I'm living in a two-bedroom apartment. The same the the same apartment, and I don't have no food and no groceries. You know, and Henry, he working in. He gave me $100, but that went by so fast. He talking about, oh, he gave me that. He gave me that as a gift or whatever. You know, he was doing that. You know, he was doing that on a regular, but then he stopped. So I'm like in between. I'm like just like Abigail, right in the middle. You know. Then I get phone calls from my son Joshua, who live up in Dover, Delaware, and he called me, tell me how he doing and stuff like. He tell me the update what's going on with him and give me update with my family, and stuff like that. and everything. And then my daughter Joy, she only she just him and her and Joshua, she talked to me on my birthday. That was in August. So everybody all split up and everything like that. So I'm like I'm fighting depression. I'm I'm fighting isolation, and I'm trying to stay focused. I'm trying to I'm looking for work and stuff like that, and it's been hard. Trying to get references and stuff like that. I don't have no references, nothing recent, no recent references. You know, and I can't use my children's father, my husband and my children's father is the reference, even though they use me to get the jobs that they got. Even though I don't know where my husband is working because he refused to tell me. But anyway, you see where I'm coming from with all this, you know. And I'm up here, I'm still looking for work. I'll be on the computer applying for jobs and stuff, putting applications in, and then I'm trying to go back to college, trying to go back to college and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, they said financial aid will cover everything, but it won't cover all my tuition and my books and fees. So it ain't so I had to pay out of my pocket for for the to go back to school. You know, stress, stress, stress. You know, stress, 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 and more stress. You know, but let me get off of here. I thought I shared this testimony and um share the story of Abigail, and I hope that it bless somebody.